26과 밥을 먹은 후에 이 약을 드세요. 대화 1. 어떻게 오셨어요?
머리가 아파서 왔어요.
언제부터 아프셨어요?
어젯밤부터요. 어제 저녁에 회식이 있어서 술을 좀 마셨어요.
아, 술 때문에 그런 것 같네요. 밥을 먹은 후에 이 약을 드세요.
네, 감사합니다.
대화 2. 어디가 불편하세요? 오늘 아침부터 배가 아프고 설사를 해요. 아침에 뭘 드셨어요? 빵하고 우유를 먹었는데 우유 맛이 좀 이상했어요. 그럼 이 약을 드세요. 그리고 오늘은 유제품은 먹지 마세요. 네, 알겠습니다. 26과 EPSTOPIK 듣기 1에서 3번 다음 그림을 보고 알맞은 대답을 고르십시오. 1번 이 사람은 어디가 아픕니까?
1. 팔이 아픕니다. 2. 이가 아픕니다. 3. 머리가 아픕니다. 4. 다리가 아픕니다.
2번
이 사람의 증상은 어떻습니까? 1.
토를 합니다.
2.
콧물이 납니다.
3.
기침을 합니다.
4.
설사를 합니다. 3번 이 사람은 어디를 다쳤습니까?
1. 손을 대었습니다. 2. 손을 베었습니다. 3. 발목을 삐었습니다. 4. 다리가 부러졌습니다.
4에서 5번 하나의 이야기를 듣고 2개의 질문에 대답하십시오. 어서 오세요. 어떻게 오셨어요?
열이 나고 머리가 아파요.
언제부터 열이 났어요?
아침부터 그랬어요.
여기 약을 드릴게요. 밥을 먹은 후에 드세요.
네, 알겠습니다.
Chapter 26, Grammar 1. Now it's time to put some things in order. After you learn this, you'll be able to say so much more. See what I did there? Yeah, after. So please say with me, hue. Always use this with a verb. Verb hue, and then another verb. For example, I don't know, maybe if you're sick, when should you take medicine? 먹은 후에. Right, you need to eat something first and not take the medicine on an empty stomach. And when should you leave the movie theater? 본 후에. After watching the movie. What about a cake? A beautiful birthday cake someone is decorating? When is it good to eat? 만든 후에, after it is made. So it doesn't matter if the second verb is past, present, or even future tense, you can still use this. In other words, this represents the meaning of after something is done, and it is combined only with the verb. Consonant, 후에, to eat, 먹다. After eating, 먹은 후에. Vowel, consonant, to watch, 보다. After watching, 본 후에. To make, 만들다. After making, 만든 후에. Now we're going to listen to some examples that talk about before and after.
언제 영화 보러 갈 거예요? 일이 끝난 후에 가려고 해요.
When are you going to go to the movies? I'm planning to go after work.
이 약은 언제 먹어야 돼요? 밥을 먹은 후에 드세요.
When should I take this medicine? Take it after eating. If you want to talk about an event and what you will do afterwards, you can just use hue after the noun and then the verb. For example, instead of after eating, you can also say after a meal. Meal is a noun, right? Instead of after leaving, you can also say getting off work. Now in English, getting off work is still a verb with ing, but in Korean there's vocabulary for that. There's a noun word that means the same thing. So let's try this out. In other words, hue is also used in conjunction with nouns in the form of noun plus hue. Let's hear a few examples of this.
식사 후에 다시 회의를 하겠습니다.
We will have a meeting again after eating. In English it says eating, but there's a noun used in Korean. What's that? 식사. Great. So we could translate it also as a noun in English. What would that be? Like a meal. Right. After the meal, we will have our meeting. We'll start the meeting again. Okay, and let's look at another example closely.
퇴근 후에 뭐 할 거예요?
What are you going to do after work? What's the word that means after work here? Or just after finishing your job for the day? 퇴근. Yeah, good. So this is a word you should memorize if you want to work in Korea. I remember my first job, my boss said you need to learn 2 words. Coming to work and getting off work. So this is the second one. And then remember it's also used with the verb 하다, 퇴근하다. And what does that mean? To get off work. Great. Chapter 26, Grammar 2. We know how to tell someone that it's not okay if they do something. But we don't yet know how to say directly don't. The verb ending for a negative command is 하지 마세요. So, to say don't, we add it to the base verb 하 from 하다. So just don't is 하지 마세요. We can use other base verbs to say don't do other things, like don't go. Can you try that out? Go, 가, and then add 지 마세요. 가지 마세요. Right, try it out. Did you? Sounds good. In other words, this is used to indicate that the listener is prevented from doing any action. Because it prohibits to act, it is combined only with the verb. Yeah, you can't use this with an adjective. It's only used with action verbs, things you can actually do. So, let's hear some examples of when this is used.
열이 많이 나니까 오늘은 밖에 나가지 마세요. 네, 알겠습니다.
You have a high fever, so do not go outside today. Yes, I understand. Who might be talking here? It sounds like maybe it's a doctor talking to someone who's sick. Or maybe it could be a parent, but there's a reason I think it's not just mom or dad. Look at the ending of 마세요. Do you notice something that's honorific? Good, say. Say is an honorific verb ending. So 나가지 마세요 is more polite, more respectful than what parents usually say to a child. So it's probably a doctor. You did great. If you want to say it informally, like to a child, someone you know very well, you could just drop sail from the end. So what would you say instead? Do not go outside. 나가지 마. Right. But that's not appropriate in a social situation unless you're really, really close to someone else. Now let's hear another example. It's also about staying healthy when you're sick.
소화가 안 되고 계속 토해요. 이 약을 드세요. 그리고 오늘은 밥을 먹지 마세요.
I cannot digest and I keep throwing up. Take this medicine and do not eat anything today. Good. So it sounds like another doctor relationship. What did the doctor tell the patient not to do?
26과 1. 다음 그림을 보고 질문에 알맞은 대답을 고르십시오. 여기는 어디입니까?
1. 약국입니다. 2. 학교입니다. 3. 병원입니다. 4. 은행입니다.
2. 다음을 듣고 이어지는 말로 알맞은 것을 고르십시오.
주사도 맞아야 해요?